Your first week as Everton CEO is also one of the most historic in the club's history. How have your first few days gone?
Well, it's been a wonderful time to join. I've had a really warm welcome from the staff, from the supporters groups that I've met, from David and the players. So it couldn't have gone better. But there's lots to be done, and it's a really exciting time.
As you say, you've joined at such an exciting time when you see the world-class new stadium and we'll be moving into the ambition from our new owners, the Freaking Group, and the progress of both the men's and the women's teams. Was that a big draw for you for the club?
Yeah, I think there were three reasons why there was such appeal. One is the club itself. You know, it's got such a fantastic history, such a rich heritage. It's got such a wonderful fan base and a wonderful city, and that makes it a very powerful proposition. But I think when you combine that with the new stadium, which I've seen in my past has been a real catalyst for positive change for the club at all levels and including on the pitch, that makes it a unique proposition. And then when you add in the new ownership, I think it's really important that ownership see themselves as custodians of the football club. But in all my dealings with the Freaking family, they understand the principles of custodianship, and they are a good combination of pragmatic. They are very clear on what their initial objectives are, but they're also hugely ambitious as well, and that's something I wanted to be part of.
You mentioned about the club's fan base as well. You've worked in football for quite a long time as well, so you're well aware of just how passionate, how Evertonians just live and breathe the club.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful club. I've seen Everton away support at all the grounds I've been at. They're fabled as being one of the best in the country, and I think they proved that in my first game away at Fulham. It was great to see them celebrating the 3 goals. And then I've got goosebumps sitting here at Goodison, of ground I've visited many times, a ground which I think is clearly important to Everton fans, but I think has a broader importance for football in this country. And I think it's great that we're going to be able to maintain the heritage of this great ground whilst moving on to one which can really fulfil our broader ambitions.
It's a busy first week for you, and I think it's fair to say it's going to be a busy summer ahead. So what are your priorities?
The first priority is always going to be football. We will always be football first. Ultimately, my job and the job of everyone at Everton is to make Evertonians proud. I know they're proud to belong to the club, and I want to make them proud, and we want to find reasons to make them proud. And that starts with what we do on the pitch. So football will always be the number one priority. And I think David's done a wonderful job since he came in stabilising things and moving the team on. We know we have a really big summer ahead of us. There's a huge restructure to be done in terms of the squad. I think it's pretty unprecedented at Premier League levels. But I think David and I see that as an opportunity to take the team on to the next level, to build on all his good work, and fundamentally to have a team which is looking up the table. And
just on the subject of football, then, could you talk us through the change in football structure and the key reasons behind that?
I think in my experience, the best football structures are ones where you have individual experts leading the functions. I think there's been a move in recent years to a single director of football model, and that can be challenging. We're going to move to a broader, flatter structure where we have experts in data and analytics, in football operations, in recruitment and talent ID, and then in player trading. Some of those people have already come on board. There's going to be some more announcements over the next couple of weeks. I've been delighted by the quality of individuals that we've been able to attract. I think when Everton fans see it, they're going to be really reassured that we've got, I think, a world-class football operations team in place who'll be there to support David, who we think is a world-class manager. And I think that combination bodes really well for next season.
You mentioned David Moyes, our manager there. He said already he's been in regular dialogue with you. How important is that going to be going forward, the two of you speaking often and keeping in regular communication?
Our relationship's critical. I think dialogue between the CEO and the manager is important. I think it's a key conduit to the relationship with the ownership. I'm delighted that David Moyes is our manager. He not only does he understand the club, but he's proven how successful he can be. He also has a belief in the long term. It's interesting. The first meeting I had with him, rather than talking about the structure of the squad, the first thing we talked about was the academy and his belief that part of the DNA of Everton was that we were developing homegrown players that would represent the first team. And I think it's rare now that you get a manager who has such a holistic view of the club, the full entity of the club. And we're lucky to have David, on top of the fact that obviously a great first team manager, as he's shown in the way he's turned the team round over the last half of the season.
And your first match as Everton CEO at Goodison also happens to be one of the most important fixtures at Goodison in the club's history. We're here at this iconic venue then. So what will it mean for you to be part of that?
It's a wonderful time to join. I think it's going to be an emotional occasion for everyone here. You know, I'm not an Everton fan, but I've stood on terraces with my father for my life, and I know there'll be many Evertonians, you know, standing on this terrace or these seats for the last time. But I think it's also a time for great positivity, because we're moving to a stadium that I've been at this morning, which is going to be truly world class. It's going to be one of the best in Europe. It's going to provide a platform for a world class team. It's going to provide revenue streams which are going to be able to help us fund that team. And so I think whilst the occasion this weekend will be definitely tinged with sadness, everybody should be seeing the opportunity of what our new stadium is going to bring to us.
And of course, it's not the end of Goodison, because this week we've announced that our women's team will be moving here. This will be their home from next season. So could you just explain the reasons behind that and the significance of the move here?
I think it's a fantastic move. I think it's bold. I think it's not without its risks and without its challenges. But that's what I want to be. I want to be a part of a club which pushes the boundaries and takes risks and embraces those types of challenges. And I think to be able to preserve the heritage of this wonderful ground and be the first team in the Premier League to effectively entrust a Premier League stadium with its women's team is a bold and brave move. But I think it's the type of move that really has the potential to unlock the women's game, not just for Everton, not just in the city of Liverpool, but nationally as well. And I think for Everton to effectively be operating two Premier League standard stadiums, one for the men and one for the women, really sets us apart and creates a fantastic platform for growth.
And do you think the move underlines how important the women's team and the women's game is to the Freaking Group as well, which is also shown by how they backed the manager Brian Sorensen in the January transfer window? That's been a key part of their progress in recent months.
Absolutely, it's always been a key part of their priorities. I think, you know, definitely at some clubs the women's team can be a bit of a footnote. It's not here. It's central to our growth plans. It's central to what we want to achieve at Everton. I think we also know it's a catalyst for positive social change to give young girls and women roots into the game. I'm very proud that they want to be bold in terms of their plans for the women's team, and I think the future is very bright.
And then just on Everton stadiums, you touched upon, just outline just how beneficial our move there to such an iconic stadium, a world-class stadium, can be to this club.
Yeah, I think now if you look at the clubs which are really competing at the top of the Premier League and in the top levels of Europe, most of them have one thing in common, and that's they have a world-class stadium. And I think there's the benefits are twofold. One is definitely the revenue that stadium can generate, and you know, we want to take that revenue that we're going to enjoy from more supporters coming to see the team, for more different types of events that we can host at the stadium. We want to take that money and reinvest it into the squad and create that virtuous cycle of more supporters creating more on-pitch talent and better results. But I think also what I've seen is it can be a broader catalyst for change. It can raise the ambitions for the whole club, whether that's the men's team, the women's team, whether that's what Everton want to do in the community and continuing the fantastic work that Everton in the community do. All of those factors can be changed by going to a world-class stadium. And I think it will change our position in world football, and I think it will change the perception of players that want to join the club. And I think it will help in our recruitment efforts.
And finally, the role of a football CEO, especially, is such a broad remit. So what are your ambitions for Everton?
I see the potential in everything that Everton is and everything that it can be. And I want to be aggressive in our ambitions. I think there's lots of case studies that we've seen recently of teams that I would see as smaller than Everton, you know, perhaps Nottingham Forest making a run on Europe, Crystal Palace getting to an FA Cup final. They're all things that should be in our ambitions for the medium term. Longer term, I think we can look beyond that. I think there's no reason why Everton can't challenge at the top table of European football. But we have to be pragmatic. We have to be balanced. We have to be sensible in our decisions. We have to work in a structure where we're not worried about relegation, where we're not concerned by regulatory issues which have pinned the club back. We need to create a firm foundation that we can build on.